Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. It's the end of the week, Friday. Gotta love it. This is your gateway to the weekend. We got a green day on the market. It's not a strong green day, but it's a green day nonetheless. And we got all kinds of stuff happened between the last episode and this episode. Bell finally pulled the trigger. They cut their dividend more than 50%. Holy banana bread. And logic would have said there would have been a massive sell-off at that point. But kind of been going in the opposite direction. Bell's actually had a pretty good 2 days. Pretty good 2 days since they cut that dividend. So we got that. We also had job numbers. Job data dropped today, and well, there's more people not working than there was last month. Unemployment did tick up a wee bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about that after the bell. But as usual, let's pull up. Yeah, let's pull up Bell. No, actually, I want to pull up the TSX. We are, like I said, we're in a green day, not by much. We're 0.21% to the green. So not too shabby, not too shabby. It'd be nice to see it a little bit stronger. But we are still in a green month so far. 1 weekend, we're in the green. Can we hold it for 3 more weeks? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to boil down to now the overall market's actually got pretty excited over the deal that Donald Trump made with the UK in regards to tariffs and all of that fun stuff, trade. Honestly, it's not really that great of a deal, but at this point, I think the UK is chalking it up as a victory, and it's at least making people think, well, at least he's willing to bring some stability to the market. Market's liking that. So that's what we've been seeing this last couple of days with a lot of the green that is going on. Now, I'm talking about green. We don't exactly have a green day on the S&P 500. They are down 0.05%, and they've been above and they've been down. I would call it a flat day. The U.S. markets are pretty much flat today. NASDAQ as well, down 0.01. So just a wee bit. Dow Jones down 0.30. And the Russell is actually, where's my blue? There it is. Oh, there it is. It's way down there. So yeah, the Russell is having a pretty good day. They're well above the blue line. So they're having a good green month thus far. Gold is up 0.68%. Silver's up 0.97. WTI up 1.34. Now you'll say Bitcoin is down a tiny bit, but don't be fooled by that, because look at this. This is yesterday. Bitcoin had a really, really good run yesterday, back above 100K. Ethereum, same. Look at this. Ethereum also nice big run before sort of going sideways today. But nonetheless, I mean, Ethereum still had a bit of a run today as well. So they're up 5.08%. All right. Well, let's take a look at that heat map. Here is our heat map for Canada. And you're seeing some interesting stuff here. So most of the banks, they're kind of just a little to the positive. So there's TD up 0.14. By the way, TD video dropped today. So if you haven't checked that out, be sure to check that out once we're done here. Or you can, if you want to hear me in kind of a demented stereo, you can watch on one screen, watch the live screen, on the other screen, watch the video, and I will compete with myself. You could definitely do that. But yeah, look at this. Canadian natural resources up 1.52%. So oil's having not a bad day. Imperial oil up 2.87. Now, one of the things, and we're going to cover this on this week on the weekend, but OPEC, they are increasing production. They're going to increase production again. So, oil's an interesting situation. We'll talk more about that on the weekend. A Dollarama, look at them. They're down 2.67%. But here's the one. Let me pull up This is, whoops, I did not mean to go into Quebecor, but look at this. This is our communication. TELUS up 6.73%. Bell 2.41. Rogers is the only one that's kind of flat at 0.18 up. And Quebecor up 3.5%. So that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Looking south of the border, we got a little bit of red going on here. We got Google down 1.15, Meta's down, Nvidia's down. Tesla, though, Tesla's having a half decent day. They're up 4.75%, but we are seeing a lot of red. Walmart down 0.84, and Walmart has their earnings next week as well. So that should be fun. Looking at crypto, mostly, look at this. It's looking pretty strong in the green. So with Bitcoin, Ethereum, 10.76%. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. Look at all of this green. Dogecoin, XRP. We got a lot. Now, there's about 15,000 different crypto coins. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick a red one because we're having a good day. Let's pick some weird red coin that I've never heard of before. We'll grab this one. Orbit Chain. So Orbit Chain. I don't even know what this is. It could be a game from the sounds of it, some game about space, maybe, or maybe the atom. I don't know. Anyway, they are worth 0.003 of a dollar. So basically 0.35 of a penny. So I don't know what this does. I'm going to assume it's related to a game. I will generally say with these crap coins, be careful. You're better off, honestly. You're better off with all of these big green coins today. Your Solana. And Solana, by the way, we got Solana spot ETFs now in Canada. So that's not too shabby at all. All right. We'll drop back here and we're going to, let's hit the chat. All right. I'm going to go big screen for a moment. We got Paul. Paul is the first in the house with a good afternoon, followed by a Stan. Stan saying happy Friday. And Paul says, played with that ASST. And yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. I was kind of warning you guys that be careful. Although, I will tell you right now, or actually 2 days ago, knowing what happened to crypto yesterday, I have a feeling ASST had a good day. I have a feeling that those people who didn't take my warning and jumped in, they're probably happy. But you know what? I honestly don't know. I haven't looked. So let's take a look. I'm curious. I am kind of curious. ASST. All right, ASST. Here we go. All right. Oh, I can see already. Look at that. They so yeah, when we last joined them here, what was it on Wednesday? It was after this little bump here. I said, be careful. I probably should have said, make sure you have extra oxygen on your way to the moon, because look at that. That's crazy, craziness. But keep in mind, anything that can move up this fast can also move down this fast. I still say be careful. But Paul, if you wrote this up, that's awesome. I think that's absolutely awesome. So, all right, well, let's finish reading the comment. Let's see. Played with that ASST using 20I BIT to buy 352 AS10 to sell the next morning and rebuy 37. So you basically, you see, and this is the play that Paul made. He basically had 20 IBIT, which is a spot Bitcoin ETF, and he just turned that 20 through this play. He turned 20 into 37. He almost doubled everything. Wow. And then let's see back. AST kept going up after and look right there, 90.5%. So that's pretty darn close to double. Awesome. All right. Paul is watching us on the TV and chatting on the phone. I haven't answered any of the chat. No, Ricardo says, good afternoon. April was definitely by far my best month so far. 30% movement. I wish we could do that every month. Yeah, you gotta love it. When you get months like that, you gotta love it. Roku says, Happy Friday, all. Larry's in the house. So I did some Googling. If Canada charges 50% on capital gains for a regular person, why wouldn't you open a small business and pay only 9%? Um, there's a lot of different loopholes in the Canadian tax system. So yeah, there's definitely things that you could do for sure. Roku is saying, how about Lug? Should have bought it a month ago. Yeah, I got really lucky. So I added them to the 0 to 100K challenge last month, and let me just give me a second. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this data up. I want to check and see what that's doing now. So I added them last month, and they managed to come in first overall return wise last month as well. So here we go. So yeah, I got an average, an adjusted cost base. Now I put in an order. I got them at $40.88. Right now, they're up 64.51%. So that their market price right now, 67.25. So, and let's just take a look. Let's take a look here. So London Gold, LUG. All right, here we are. Oh, so look at this. Up today, 13.89%. Holy banana bread. And I'll just go to the 1 month. So yeah, this has been a crazy month. A crazy month for LUG. So anybody who did get in on that ride, well, congratulations. That's not too shabby either. Oh, by the way, we got the bell in about 4 minutes. So actually about closer to 3. If you do not like loud noises, if you don't like the loud noises, the bell is the bell's a loud noise. So turn down the volume, or maybe just pull your headphones out. I try to give a 10-second warning. Sometimes I get distracted though and miss it, but I will do my darndest today to do a bit of a warning here. So Rory says, hi all. And let's see. Hope Oil has another green day on Monday, looking to get into HOD at lower prices. So HOD, that is our inverse oil. It's a Beta Pro. It's a Beta Pro inverse ETF. It's also got leverage on it. So yeah, hopefully you get your wish. Mary is in the house with a hi, everyone. And guys, Mary's the unofficial captain, or the official captain of the like button. So guys, that means it's time to hit the like button. You might as well, because I'm going to have a sip of coffee, and it gives you something to do while you're waiting for me to come back from my enjoyment. Oh, gosh. So good. So good. What's up with Air Canada today? Good question. Let's take a look. I haven't actually looked at Air Canada today. I know they were doing holy banana bread. Oh boy. Yeah, I was not expecting that. They're out of my buy zone. That's crazy. Now, I already did buy this month, thankfully. But they have had they've been doing pretty good the last little bit. And look at that. What the banana bread happened there? I don't know. So I'm going to come over here and let's pull up Air Canada. And I just want to keep my eye on that time here. All right, we got about 1 minute and 10 seconds to the bell. All right, let's grab Air Canada. Let's see if there's any news that's popping up on them. Ooh, here it is. Earnings. They had an earnings report. That's obviously what did it. So right now they did beat on earnings. They were up 13.78% on their expected earnings. Not too shabby. They were down on the revenue, but I think that certainly made people excited. And plus, I would have to look into that report. But if they talked a bit more about their share buybacks, that probably would help too. Because I know the previous earnings report, they were going to look at share buybacks, and that's very good for their stock price. So we'll have to see. But yeah, look at this. They had a really, really good day for sure. Holy cow. I did not realize that. I missed that. I missed that. Ah, what a day. What a day. All right. Oh, we got about 10 seconds to the bell. Oh, there's the warning. It's time, guys. It's time. Here we go. And the market's closed. Welcome to the weekend. Welcome to the weekend. Whew. All right. Paul says, oh, you can put your earbuds back in. It won't be loud anymore. Paul says, stocking trading as a business has no capital gains, full income. Yes, exactly. So, I mean, if you're basically making all your money from trading, so a day trader, for example, that day trader, nothing is capital gains. Everything is considered business income or business losses. But on the bright side, you can write off a lot of stuff too if you are doing it as a business. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Let's see. Rory says, "Dole." All right. Oh, I'm almost caught up with you guys. Paul says, yes, the distributed tech stocks did well over 1 million. So, let's see. Strategy plus 71%, IBIT plus 35, Tesla plus 33. You know what? I have not looked at strategy. Let's see here. Do I have? I think I still have them here. Let's see. There's Tesla, Nvidia. There we are. Let's take a look at them. I imagine. Oh, you know what? They had kind of a. I almost thought it was going to be bigger. But that's not a bad move. That's not a bad move at all. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that is pretty darn cool. So gotta like it for sure. Holy cow. But yeah, the Air Canada thing. We still got a little bit of ways before I sell, but right now it looks like it's going to be stale until until I just wow. Sorry, I'm at a loss for words on that one. I wasn't expecting it to be back up anytime soon. But I'll take it. I'll take it. William is in the house with, hello, I'm here to hear about what you think of Air Canada. I know when it goes up, it keeps going, but I am always afraid of this stock. Yeah. So let's go back to Air Canada here. And let's come out. Well, I'm going to come out for the last year. All right. Now, here, well, actually, guys, let me bring it back up so that we're all looking at it. Normally, I talk for about 15 minutes, and then somebody tells me, "Oh, well, you're not showing the screen." But this time we look at it. So this is the last time. So the Air Canada swing trade. So the last time I did it, basically I was buying when it was under 15, and I was going to sell at 20. So I started doing it down in here. I didn't get very far before their last earnings came out. And well, this is what happened. It made it, well, quite literally. What was this top price here? It made it all the way up to $26.02. So that was absolutely. Now they beat expectations, and they also announced those share buybacks. So that's kind of a big thing. So just to give you a general idea, I'm going to go to 10 years. So this is the pandemic drop for Air Canada. It's big. Now, when this happened, well, of course, Air Canada was in trouble. Airlines were shutting down, all of that stuff, As a result, they diluted their shares. So when you dilute your shares, it's basically like money printing. It's like, let's say I have 1 million shares and I'm going to dilute them. That means all of a sudden I have 1,100,000 because I just printed 100,000 shares, sold them. But what that does is obviously my company is still valued at the same amount. However, because there's now more shares, basically, your share price is basically take the market cap, divide the number of outstanding shares. That should be pretty much your share price because that's how it's calculated. So if you all of a sudden create a whole bunch of new shares, that lowers that share price. So that's one of the things that happened here as well. And of course, as you can see with Air Canada got into this whole sideways thing for a bit. Then they would have, they would they would come back up, and then they go back down, move sideways, up, sideways, up. Right now we're technically in a sideways at the moment. So during this time I did play during the pandemic. I played Air Canada a little bit, up some of this movement, and then it went up, and I played it in here a little bit, and then I did it in the challenge in here. So actually, right in here, I just started the trade. I started the swing trade. I set up the rules. I was like, all right, this is great. I thought that I would be doing it for about a year. But nope, nope. We got that other quick little jaunt up. Now started it again. This time I've actually got a little bit further before we got above the strike price, and I also changed my strike price. So last time, not my strike price, sorry, but my buy price. So last time I was buying if it was under 15. This time I changed it to under 17 with a sell of I think I said about 21. So 21, 22, somewhere's in that vicinity, is where I'm going to exit the swing trade, and then start it up again the next time it goes back down. But right now it's moved me out of my buy price. So if it stays, like if it goes sideways right now at 17.54 in that area and stays above 17, I may not be adding any more shares to them next month. I may just be in that wait and hold pattern until it does get its next big bump up to 21, 22, maybe higher. We'll see, because when it goes up, if it hits 21, let's say I decide to sell at 21, I'm not going to sell at 21. What I'm going to do is if it hits 21, I'll put in like a stop loss at 21, and I'll let it go higher, and I will move that stop loss up with Air Canada. So basically, it's going to be a manual version of a trailing stop loss. So if you happen to have, now, there are not a lot of brokers offer trailing stop losses. I know a Desjardins, that's a brokerage we never talk about. They do have commission-free trading, and they do have that trailing stop loss. I tried them out, and honestly, they got so many great tools. I did love everything that they had, but I just found the ease of use. I couldn't sell things quickly. It tied me down because I couldn't just do click, click, sell, click, click, buy. I had to go click, click, pull up other things. I found it was just too many clicks before a buy. So that was the only reason I didn't go with them and stayed with National Bank for that. Rory is saying Air Canada could drop next week as buyers look for profits and sell out. Maybe. That's definitely a possibility. We'll have to sort of see. Now, there is that possibility as well that we might get a little bit more of a bump on Monday before that happens. But we'll see. We'll see how next week looks. I wasn't actually expecting this big of a bump already. So it could be, I'm hoping. It's kind of funny that I'm kind of hoping that it comes back down, because I was kind of hoping that this would be a nice long swing trade. So I was hoping for about a year. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping to be buying Air Canada for about the next year, and then take a look and see what's going to go on there at that point. So we'll see. It could be very, very interesting for sure. Bleak is in the house with a hey y'all. Hello, Bleak. Good to see you. Oh gosh, so good, so good. I am definitely loving it. Now, I was looking at some stuff with some of the new crypto ETFs that have been coming out in Canada. So one of the interesting ones here, and I have added this to the challenge, by the way. One of the things I did is I sold last week. I sold out of my my EBIT, and I moved it into. Give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to. All right, I just got some weird stuff happening on my screen. Let's see. All right, there we go. What the heck are you doing? What the heck are you doing? All right. No, it won't let me. I don't know what it just. Oh, it closed. It closed all of my my Excel. So I had an Excel sheet. It closed the whole thing on me. That's fine. Let me see here. All right. Whoa. All right. Well, I'll look at it a little bit later. Basically, the Bitcoin leaders. So I moved into the Bitcoin leaders one, and I did that before all of this explosion happened. So that's absolutely fantastic. And the idea behind that is that the Bitcoin leaders gives me exposure to a whole bunch of things from miners to, well, MicroStrategy, well, strategy now, as well as, of course, Bitcoin. So I thought, okay, let's move over to that. And plus, it has a pretty good yield on it as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting for sure as we watch how that goes. All right, here, let's see here. What do I got here? Paul says, I noticed the dividend guy is on Blossom. He has the Service Dividend Stocks Rock and YouTube channel. You look at his holdings and has a Bitcoin ETF. The dividend guy. I don't think I've ever really watched his channel. However, let's head into Blossom and see. Oh, we still got Jimmy up there. We still got Jimmy. I'm gonna put in the dividend guy. And let's see here. There's the ETF guy. And there's the guy. Do you know what his name is, Paul? Because we could look at his portfolio. If you know what his name is, I just typed in dividend, the dividend guy, and that didn't work. That didn't work at all. Ricardo says, I'm currently looking to add to MDV. This is an exclusive industrial REIT in the U.S. and pays a monthly dividend of 10 cents per share. This has tremendous opportunity, in my opinion. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at MDV right now. All right, MDV. Whoops. All right, so let's see. Modative Industrial Class C. All right, let's take a look here. Perfect. Is it kind of interesting? I find in the States, in the United States, a lot of times REITs won't even have REIT. Like in Canada, you got REIT pretty much in the title of every single REIT. But you'll find it's a little bit different in the United States. But let's take a look here. 8.114. So yeah, 10 cents. So 9.8 USD. So well, for those of us up here, that's probably closer to like what, 12, 13 cents after you put in the exchange. So that's not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Kind of interesting. Let's go into the key data here for a bit. They do have a little bit. They have a little bit of debt, 163. But once again, our REIT, when you're in real estate, debt is kind of part of the game. So that's usually not too shabby. I don't like the fact that return on equity is in the negative, but that would be something to make me take a look a little bit deeper. So, but it looks like they have been pretty reliable with that. All right, that's not a missed. Every so often I'll see one of these, but they still gave a January one. This is just something else. I don't know what that is. Yahoo is another place you can go where you can get your dividend history as well. But yeah, no, it looks like they've done pretty good. It looks like they've done pretty good. Now, this one here does look like, it looks like they might have missed. I would, once again, when I'm looking at TMX, if I see something fishy in their dividends, I always go and double check on Yahoo, because sometimes, especially if it's a US stock, sometimes I find TMX is not the best with the US ones. So definitely I will definitely would double check on that. But yeah, no, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I have a feeling RMAX might hold these guys. They might. They do hold. So RMAX, they hold 50% US and 50% Canada. And now I'm kind of curious. All right, I got to find out, why am I on Business Wire? Oh, something about Bitcoin ETFs. All right, let's go to RMAX for a second. RMAX ETF. All right, let's see here. Hamilton RMAX, perfect. I want to take a look at. All right, so let's see here. Here we go. Here are our tickers. Let's see. Do we have? Okay. No, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. All right. Oh well, it was worth taking a look. But yeah, no. RMAX has a lot of good. Uh, has a lot of good mix. Has a lot of good mix for sure. I do like RMAX quite a bit, as you guys all know. I just because I haven't talked a lot about them doesn't mean that I don't like them. Oh, speaking of REITs, so as you guys know, I've been sort of looking at am I keeping Timber Creek Financial? That was kind of things. It's not a REIT, it's a mortgage investment company. I actually decided to keep Timber Creek. I'm keeping Timber Creek, but I did want to simplify my overall REIT strategy a bit. So I did sell it a RioCan. I was like, let's sell it a RioCan for now. And I did move that a little bit into Timber Creek Financial and a little bit more into RMAX. So, but you'll see that on the next 0 to 100K. All right. Ricardo says, let's see, I'm currently holding 40 shares at an average price of $15.50. Let's see. Paul says, okay. Oh, the dividend guy. All right, let's try this again. Let's try this again. All right. Let's see. At the dividend guy. Let's see if that helps us. Here we are. My cruise. All right. So this here. This is our dividend guy. Mike Hughes has a channel, and I can't verify much about it because I don't think I've watched any of his stuff. But I'll have to check him out. I'll have to check him out. All right, let's take a look here and see. Here is his portfolio. We'll just pull it all up here. We got Apple, ATD, Brookfield, Costco. I'm just going to scroll down here towards the bottom. Let's see. CNR, great. Starbucks, Brookfield Renewable, Royal Bank, Lemaire, Fortis, there it is. IBIT, the iShares Bitcoin Trust. There we go. Yeah. I mean, it's one of these things that at this stage, there's going to be like the Bitcoin purists who are like, not your keys, not your crypto. But at this point, there's no reason that you can't have a small, a small little exposure. You don't have to have a lot, but it's been doing so well. That's the whole thing. And I think you're going to find a lot of people will have like just at least one ETF or something in their portfolios nowadays. But you know what? If you really, really, really are in that camp that I think it's a scam, it's all going to come crashing down. There's nothing wrong. You can have a very good portfolio without it at the same time too. So I see both sides. Ricardo says, I read their 10Q. Their average lease is currently 13 years. They have paid constantly since last year. Their dividend and their debt is subject, sadly, to interest rates. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of one of those things like when you are investing in REITs, 100% of those dividends are 100% taxable. It's all income. And also with an MIC, something like Timber Creek Financial, it's all considered interest. So it is all 100% taxable, which is why TFSA is a great place for a REIT or an MIC, RRSP as well. So, just things to keep in mind. You want to keep them tax sheltered. Otherwise, you're paying income. You're paying on that for sure. Paul says, I'm looking at the strategy preferred shares, STRK 8% with a convert option and STR 10% for cash part of portfolio later in the year. Interesting. All right. Ricardo says they did a reorganization in 2023. Hence how it shows the missed monthly dividend that you saw on the list. Oh, okay. There we go. That explains it. But yeah, because it is an American stock and that website, I still would always verify that. In the other thing. Jim is in the house. Hey, I am late. No worries. It happens. And I always say, look, you know what? if you miss a market close, there'll be another one. It's they're not going away. They're not going away. So yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You can be late. You can be late. But yeah. So yeah, speaking of Blossom, by the way, guys, if you have not yet downloaded the Blossom, there's a good reason that you might want to do it. Because if you do it, follow me. I'll follow you back because that's where like I said, like quite literally, this is where I get my feed. I go through the people who I'm following. That's what I look at. And if I'm following you, good chance I might, if I see you and you say something interesting, I might comment like, oh, look at this. Somebody just mentioned me. Glamour's glue. What did I say? Oh, right. They were showing this future is friendly thing. And I just happened to mention that, back in the old days, I used to like that. They're back before Telus bought them. What were they called? Clear View or Clear something. I used to love their frog commercial. I thought that tree frog, absolutely cute. Loved it. So I did reply. I replied in here somewhere. View more replies. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, see, I like the one with the tree frog. And yes, somebody else, Sarah, said that was a classic one for sure. So, and yeah, Terry said, I looked, could I find just one Telescape cutie tree frog? Nada. Oh, well, it's got to be out there. It's got to be out there. I have looked up old commercials on YouTube before, and yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. All right. Jim says, I wanted to find out what you think of PEY. All right, let's pull him up. What is that? Peyton? Here we go. Or Pato. There we go. All right. So Pato Exploration and Development Corp. They have actually shown up in a list or two. But yeah, I mean, overall, you got a lot of volatility, but this is always a healthy sign. Like when you're looking at a company with a lot of volatility, one of the things I like to see, especially looking at the current trend, is I want to look at something like this. Here's a high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. Same thing with the low, low, higher low, higher low. Okay, those ones perhaps not so much, but in general, we got a good trend on the move going up. Now, I know what these guys, they're basically they're an oil and gas company. They do a lot of exploration, development, natural gas, you name it. They have a half decent dividend too, 7.116. So that's not too shabby. It is 11 cents. It's monthly. If we go into their back end here, let's take a look gander here. One of the things I do like, they don't have a huge debt to equity ratio. So basically it's 50%. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Return on equity, okay. Return on assets are fine. So yeah, I mean, there's not much that I don't like about this company. I think they're a solid company, and they do show up. A lot of times, quite honestly, when I pull the data for a list, and let's just go back here for a second. Back to their overview. When I pull data for a list, if I happen to, pull on a day when they've just had one of their volatilities downward spikes, it can eliminate them from showing up that time around. Sometimes bad luck does that to a company. So it happens. It happens. Paul says, came across some rules for TFSA. Big A regular stock exchange, no OTC. The fine is 50% of investment. Was looking if there was a USD version of HODL, which is CYFRF on Pink Sheets OTC. No to that. Okay. Yeah. One of the things that's really interesting about the TFSA, when it comes to rules, the CRA is they're not very forthcoming when it comes to their rules. They try to, in a sense, they try to keep it vague. So a lot of the rules, like, when I talk about like the 30-day thing, you go to the CRA site, you're not going to find 30 days. It's not listed there. But a lot of the rules that you'll hear from, from some of the finance YouTubers and such are kind of just rules that people have been able to piece together over over the history of the TFSA. Sometimes it's like looking at what type of issues other people have had who have gotten into trouble with the CRA and things like that. So when you actually look at the CRA, what it talks about is frequent trading. It talks about things like that. So it might say frequent trading, but it's like, what does frequent trading mean? So yeah, it's kind of, to me, this is my philosophy is, and this is where I think the CRA has gone wrong. I think it should be crystal clear. I think it should say, okay, here are the rules. Follow them. If you step outside of them, this is what happens. That would be, to me, that would be the best approach. Don't make things gray. Don't make things, and I think part of the reason they make it gray is that, if you do some frequent trading and you've made very little money doing it, chances are they're probably going to leave you alone. If you've done a couple of odd day trades, they're probably, and guys, keep in mind, this is the word probably. Doesn't mean that they will, but they probably will. But if you've just broken a couple small rules, but you've done it with some big money sums, they're probably not going to leave you alone. So it kind of boils down, like, it's kind of like, is it worth going after, Harvey Hump Scruncher there, who just, did a little bit of day trading and made $5? Nah, it's not worth our time. But then Sally Sidewalk Smasher comes along and she just does a couple, but she does like hundreds of thousands of dollars that yeah, of course, you're going to go after the big fish. You'll definitely go after the big fish for sure. Rory says, when I first got into this, I used my TFSA to buy garbage penny stocks down 60%. More than not, what a waste that was. Yeah, it's one of those things. You have to be conscientious of what you're putting into your TFSA. So, for me, it's always going to boil down to total return. Even if I'm putting in an income stock. So even if I'm putting income stocks in there, income stocks do tend to go down a little bit, but I want to make sure that the money that, that at the very least, the income coming that they're producing is going to make up for any kind of capital erosion that there might be on that stock. So that to me is important, because you also have to realize, and this is a number one mistake a lot of people make in their TFSA with income, is you're living off that income and you're pulling, maybe you're pulling that income out each month. All of that money that you've pulled up, yeah, you've lost that space because you've taken it out, but you get all of that back. So if you had a TFSA, and let's just say it was producing $1,000 a month, and you were taking $1,000 a month because you were living off it, that was going to help support you. Well, at the end, each year, that means that you have created $12,000 of dividends in that TFSA, and you've pulled it out as income. Well, when contribution time comes along in January on the 1st, and they give you your new space, they also give you back that $12,000 in space as well. So you would end up getting 12,000 plus whatever it is. Maybe it's 7,000, 7,500, whatever it turns out to be. You'll get all of that back. So definitely something to keep in mind. I should go big again. Jim says very vague. I know. It's crazy how vague it is. Oh, I love it. All right. Let's see. Paul says, do my best to keep stocks for more than 30 days in my TFSA. Last month, long-term holding strategy sold to buy Tesla and changed by IBIT. Yeah, absolutely. Jim says, I buy banks and ETFs for monthly income to buy banks. Okay. Jim, you're a bank guy. You like the banks. Yeah, there's banks are very resilient. I do like the Canadian banking sector, and people give our banks, sometimes they're like, Oh, they just get bailouts. It's not even quite. It's not even that way. I mean, it's just the way our banks are set up. They're very just the whole setup, the way the banks were formed here. Um, Basically, if you want a comparison, don't look at the U.S. banks. That's a completely different beast. Um, Most of our banking system is based off of Scottish banking system, actually. So a lot of the immigrants to Canada, they brought with them. Well, they came out of Scotland and places like that, and they brought that with them, and that kind of is baked into our banking system, and that is a very conservative banking system. It's actually really interesting. At one point, earlier in Canada's history, most of our banks had their own currency. So you used to be able to get a Bank of Nova Scotia dollars. So kind of cool. That all went away. But I recall as a kid, I pretty sure I've seen a Bank of Nova Scotia dollar, and I was just like, "What the heck is that?" But they did used to exist. Rory says the TD situation. Yeah, I mean TD, and you got to give them credit. Despite the money laundering, and I think the money laundering should never have happened. They should have had their ducks in a row. This all should have been prevented. It was all very preventable. But they have taken action. They have put a lot of new systems into place, and a lot of them are coming into place this year and over the next couple of years. And that is going to prevent this type of thing from happening again. Now, they of course did take a hit. Now, luckily, and I think this was another good move. Getting a new CEO is a good way to sweep a lot of stuff under the rug. And, you know, I think most of us, at least in this community, yeah, we remember it a lot because I talked about it a lot. Um, but I think investors are starting to put it behind them a little bit, and looking more towards all of the crap that's coming towards the banks this year. So, like I said before, I did drop a video on TD today, so I'm not going to go too deep into it because you can watch the video. You can get more out of that than me just reiterating what's in it. So definitely do that after this show is done. The good old TD. Yeah, I am looking to do within 2 weeks. I want to do a video on the on those ETFs, on all of these new ETFs that have popped up. So that is on my agenda. But what I was mentioning earlier, when when everything started crashing on me, all of my Excel, it completely crashed all my Excel. So basically, it gave me a save window for each of them. I don't know if it crashed or if I accidentally clicked on something while I was looking at the camera, trying to do something off on the side without looking at it. So yeah, that's kind of fun. That happens. But yeah, a lot of the brand new ETFs are not showing up. So you know how I like. Let me just pull it up over here again. You know how I like my TMX money. Well, they're not on the TSX. A lot of the new ones are on like CBOE, and they're not showing up. So, for example, BCCC, it's not coming up. So for now, what you kind of have to do until TMX gets caught up, and they will get caught up, is not go to RMAX, but Yahoo Finance. There we go. Yahoo Finance to the rescue. And I can come in here and do BCCC, and you'll see it right here showing up on the Neo. And you can pull it up that way and see what's going on here. Let's see here. Why am I not seeing any? I'm not seeing anything here. Trust me, guys, it does work. It's probably because I clicked on the wrong one. BCCC. Yeah, here we go. I need to come down here to this one here. This is the -UNE, and here's the straight up NE one. All right, we'll go on this one here. So there we go. Yeah, so it hasn't. Oh, that's just the 1 day. Let's pull up the 5 day. And it hasn't been out that long, so it looks like, yeah, it started right about here. But you can sort of see. can go that. Sorry, I just heard thunder. I just heard thunder. It caught my attention. It's like, what's going on out there? Actually, the other night I got woke up. I got woken up from fireworks. Apparently, Toronto won. So I don't know why somebody in Ottawa is firing fireworks because Toronto won, but hey, it doesn't happen often. Jim says the TD video was really good. Oh, thank you, Jim. Thank you. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. It's kind of a it was definitely a fun one. Actually, kind of one of those ones where even during the filming, I felt that everything just went really, really well. So gotta love it. Paul says in December 2024, Soul Strategies applies for a listing on the NASDAQ exchange. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, as you guys know, well, not Soul Strategies, but MicroStrategy did the same kind of thing, and they're now on the Nasdaq, and that was definitely a big thing for MicroStrategy for sure. Let's see, Leafs and Oilers 2-0 so far. The only party pooper is Winnipeg. I know, but they've only had one game. Winnipeg lost their first game. As you guys know, I would love to see, of the 4 teams next round, I'd love to see 3 Canadians make it through. That to me would be awesome. But as a couple of people pointed out in our last stream, Gary Bettman probably would not like it very much at all, because already this year, because there's been more Canadian teams, I read something earlier that that the viewership in general is a little bit down in the US and quite a bit up in Canada. So what can we say? What can we say? Reverend Ramirez, welcome back. Let's see, SPRRY. I joined late, oh, sorry. I was like, SPRRY, which ticker is that? But yes, no, sorry, I joined late. Not sure if you heard or commented on the SMRs being built in Ontario. So SMRs, small modular reactors. I like them. Now, I know that there's a lot of controversy around nuclear power, but a lot of it, oh God, I don't want to use the word fake news, but a lot of the fear is, a lot of the fear is just, it's not 100% founded. Now, there's a couple of things, though, I will say. If you're building a nuclear power plant, don't build it on a fault. Don't build it where tsunamis come. Use a little bit of common sense. But, Ontario, it's not really a dangerous place for something like a reactor. Now, the small modular reactors, these are smaller ones. They don't produce as much power, but they come with a lot of other advantages as well. One of the really good things about a small modular reactor is that you can move them. They can be mobile. It's not like you can throw one in the back of a truck, but they are something that you can move. So if you're actually looking at providing power to a northern community, an SMR is not a bad option, at all. And let's see, Reverend says, I can't invest in it, though, I don't think. Yeah, it just depends. It depends. I mean, one way that you can gain exposure, obviously, is that these things are all running on uranium. So obviously, any uranium company like Cameco, for example, and I think Rory mentions that up ahead. Those would be a way that you could gain some exposure as well. There are other companies, and I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to get big, really, really big. Yeah, absolutely. I know. There's a lot of money going into it. So I'm pretty bullish. Like even the Bruce Power Point here in Ontario, they're looking to add more reactors to that as well as the SMRs. So yeah, it's going to be big. So yeah, either, and I'll have to look and see if I can find a publicly traded nuclear reactor company. So I know SNL Lavalin. I know, well, they changed their name. I don't know if they're public or not. I have to check. I'll have to check on that. Let's see. Paul says, "Whoops." Paul says, "Waiting for strategy to be on the the TSE one day, for journaling USD to CAD. That would be a good way to go. So that would be, well, basically, it would turn it into a Norbit Gambit opportunity for, well, depending on which broker you're using. Now, Paul has moved over to Quest Trade, so that would be ideal. Absolutely. All right, guys, if you got your last minute questions, throw them in. Doesn't mean we're leaving right away. Yeah, well, it depends on you guys, but let's do it. We're getting into the weekend. We're at about the hour mark. That's usually when I ask for those questions. It also gives me an opportunity to have myself some coffee, and I do love my coffee. So good, so good. I am looking at, oh, right. We were talking about, I started to talk about something and I got pulled completely off of it. Back to, sorry, Blossom, back to Blossom. So one of the reasons that Blossom is kind of cool for you guys is, if you ever want, and it's up to you, if you want me to review your portfolio, and you gotta have it attached on Blossom for me to do it, or you can, you don't have to have it attached. You can go over there and manually upload it if you want. That's what I do with the 0 to 100K, because right now there is no, I think right now there isn't, we have API access over on Blossom to Wealthsimple and Quest Trade. I think those are the only two Canadian ones right now. So yeah, I have to manually, any trades I make, I manually put them into Blossom. So you can do that all manually. It's good stuff. I don't think yet. Let's take a little gander that it's available on the desktop yet. Let's just see here. Oops, that's my insights. I don't want to go there. Okay, let me take a look. Edit portfolio. Nope, it's not yet ready on the desktop version. So the desktop version still in beta. They're still improving it. New things pop up all the time. Oh, by the way, this here is this is the 0 to 100K challenge right in here, so you can sort of see everything in here. Now, I have not updated it yet this month. So this has all of the stuff from last month, and so also coincides with the last video. But now you'll notice here that this here has dollar numbers on it. When you hook up, like if I look at anybody else's portfolio, and let's actually do that. Let's just go pick somebody. I'll go to the home. Let's look at Harvey Specter. Why not? Obviously, this is not Harvey Specter. Somebody is just using their name. But you'll notice here, it's just got percentages. That's what everybody else will see. It's just percentages. They don't need to know how much money you got. None of their business, but it will show you. It will show you. It just won't show anybody else. So kind of good, kind of good. But yeah, so if you want me to, I will do those reviews on this week. So that's my Sunday stream. So if you want me to do it, just reach out to me over there. Private message me. Let me know. Give me your name. Give me your name and or your handle. Well, if you private message me, I can just click on it anyway, and I'll have no problem. Now, what I will say is, if you want me to do it, for like a Sunday, do it. Do it sooner, because I'd like to have a tiny bit of headway. Because if you've got some stocks in there I've never heard of, I need to at least look up and find out, do a quick little surface grab on those stocks so I can see what they are. Most cases, I think most of you have stuff that I'm very familiar with, but sometimes there's some obscure stocks in there, especially if you're doing a bunch of American investing as well, right? I know a good amount about the American market, but there's a lot. There's a lot of stocks. It's like, take Canada and multiply it by by quite a big factor, and then you'll get the US. Ricardo says, do you see only big producers of uranium going up, or the whole sector? It's a good question. I think in some cases, it really I think it boils down to if it's a good managed uranium company, it should be fine. Are all uranium companies going to benefit? Probably not. There's probably going to be some that don't. And also keep in mind, not all uranium is equal. So a lot of it comes down to purity as well. Also, sometimes particular isotopes, ones that work better in reactors. I know some of the best uranium in the world is in Saskatchewan, and that's where Cameco. So Cameco is in Saskatchewan. So, and that's just because you get some really good purity and you got the perfect isotopes. So that is something just to keep in mind. So no, not all big producers will necessarily, but I think a lot of the bigger, well, I guess big is probably the key word. I think the big producers have a better chance for sure. Um, well, and keep in mind too, if you want to sort of take the guesswork out, you could always look at a uranium ETF for sure. All right. Jim says it's not hard to add your stuff to Blossom or make changes. It's really not. It's really, really not hard at all. And I will show you guys as soon as that functionality is on the desktop. I'll show you. Because yeah, I think it's pretty darn easy, and I don't mind. Yeah, and this is absolutely true. Blossom will not be accurate for all-time return, and it really won't. It, maybe in the future, but that you have to take a little bit with a grain of salt when you're looking at your all-time returns. But for the most part, it gives you a good idea. Like one of the things I like, and I don't know if this is functional yet or not, but let's find out. Let's go back over to me. Actually, let's go to Insights. So I love the Insights because it just gives me a whole bunch of things. So you can set, for example, here you can set your goals. So as you can see, 100,000 is the goal because it's a 0 to 100K challenge. So we're 14% of the way in that challenge. There we go. I love this part down here as well. So I can look at my sectors and see where I'm sitting at. So you can sort of see, it gives me an idea where Blossom is and where I am. So right now I'm pretty high in industrials, 26.4%. That's because of the Air Canada swing trade. Air Canada falls under that industrials. Energy, real estate. We can see technology. I'm really low on technology right now, but there's kind of a reason for that. I kind of backed out of a lot of technology as I've been battening down the hatches for a recession. But once we get into the recession and things are, I will probably be pulling up the technology quite a bit, like quite a lot actually, to be honest. You can also go to geography. Now, in this case here, my portfolio is 100% of it is North America. What can I say? And I haven't actually looked in here. Yeah, here we go. So right now, stocks 54%, 45% are ETFs. So yeah, it gives you a good little thing. There's a lot of different things, and as they add more stuff in here, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be very, very cool. This here is just a comparison tool comparing with the S&P 500. You got the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, the TSX. There we go. It takes it a moment to load. So yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch more stuff that's going to get added to it. The Learn, they haven't added that yet. So the Learn actually is kind of neat. There'll be little videos that you can watch, and some of them they'll actually pay you to watch them. So it's like BMO might have a line of ETFs, and it's like, hey, watch this little video on these ETFs, and we'll give you like $1 or $2 or something. And it's cool. It's absolutely cool. So anyway, that's Blossom for you. That's Blossom. Paul says you almost need an option in Blossom. Is an input date and dollar amount to get a correct alt. Yeah, that's what you need. And I think eventually with the API, they might be able to get that if, depending on how that develops. With the manual, I don't think that'll ever happen, but we'll have to see. But it could be abused to fake super high returns. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is the way I look at it would be, what would be the point other than if you're just trying to show it to people and say, "Oh, look at the returns I got. Ooh, look at me." Yeah, it could happen. Let's see. Rory says, I have a $1 million challenge I put on my spreadsheet. May see it, may not. You know what? Aim for the moon. Then at least if you don't hit your target, you probably got at least a high orbit. So that's not too shabby. Tom says, came late and sorry if this was already asked, but what happened to Air Canada for the huge spike today? Earnings. Their earnings came out and they did beat expectations on their earnings. The revenue was down a little bit, but it was enough to get people excited. So we got a little bit of a pump up above 17. So we'll have to see if that continues into Monday. It would absolutely be funny if Monday it did go up and hit my target and forced me out of the swing trade. But yeah, it's not too shabby. It's not too shabby at all. Will Blossom poll from Interactive Brokers. Good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they do or not. I'd have to look the next time I go in. Right now the desktop here is not going to let me do it. Let's get rid of this frog.
There is no active call.
Okay, thank you. That was our Alexa moment as she was letting me know there's nothing active going on. So yeah, I do not know. I would have to take a look. I know a lot of actually for the American investors, because Blossom is now available for the US. They have more brokers than what we do that are working, that they have the API for. But I think part of it up here, at least in Canada, I think the big six, they don't like they really just don't care about giving up API access. So that is what's, I think, been taking longer for Blossom to get their hands on that. So we'll have to see if that happens or not. We'll have to find out. Jim says, are you planning to do an in-depth video on Blossom once the desktop version comes out? Yeah, let's say I will. I will. Yeah, I think I will. I'll be able to feature it more. Like I do my best to feature it here every now and then. But yeah, once everything is working perfectly, I will definitely do that. Definitely, because I think that's pretty awesome. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, absolutely. See, for now you have to text the app to your phone, so I can't use Blossom. Yes, but and I don't know if I mentioned this, if you heard yet or not, Rory, I was talking to Brandon Beavis, what was it, last week? And he said that once this is out of beta, you should be able to do it through here. So that will be good. Uh-oh. The Jolly Orange Giant is about to sign some executive orders. I wonder what it's going to be now. Yeah, it's always, why do you do this on Friday at, the end of the day? It's like, let's mess things up for the weekend. That way things can settle down by Monday. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. Orange, you glad he's the president? What can I say? Ayush says, "Hi, should we buy gold?" Yeah, I do. I mean, yes and no. I mean, gold is definitely it's definitely a good place to park money for sure, and gold has absolutely exploded. So what we were looking at earlier in the live stream is we were looking at London Gold, so LUG. They've absolutely exploded as as the market has any kind of uncertainty, people do turn to gold. And I think gold and a lot of economists are actually predicting gold to have, to be very, actually, a funny thing is they were predicting it to have a good solid year of growth and hit 3,300. Well, what is it at right now? I think it's higher than 3,300, but let me just take a gander. Where are we at here with gold? 33.25. So we've already hit their 1-year target. They're of course revising that up higher. So yeah, when there is instability, and there's a good chance of a lot of that. And if we go into a recession, gold will certainly be a good place for parking money for sure. And I know that you have your second part is Bitcoin, the new stable currency. Bitcoin, I have a lot of faith in Bitcoin. I do like crypto. Absolutely. Are they a store of value yet? I think they're close. I think Bitcoin is close. As we get more and more liquidity in that market, with the Bitcoin, with the spot Bitcoin ETFs from in what was it, January 2024, that certainly added a lot more. And and with the U.S. talking about having a Bitcoin and other crypto strategic reserve, that's adding a lot. So yeah, I think you can go either way. Like I think both are good options. I think with gold though, it's just going to be more of a clear correlation towards chaos in the market and chaos in the economy, and gold will go up a lot more of a straight line opposed to Bitcoin. But long term, you're probably going to make more money on Bitcoin, to be honest. But you have to be able to weather the volatility that you're going to get with Bitcoin, because it can come up and down pretty a lot, pretty much a lot. Rory and his two-handed spear, that black, I know that black Sharpie, and quite literally, I swear, he's like the bionic man, like the $6 million man. Somebody should make those bionic sounds when he's slow, in slow motion, because it looks like it's a slow motion, his signature, like that's what we need. That's what we need for him. It would make watching executive order signing a lot more interesting too. Let's see. When Orange Man done thousands of executive orders. Oh, I know. Jim says, my Trump watches the Canadian market, and every time it stabilizes him, gets on the TV, says a bunch of stuff to make it drop. I know. Sometimes it's interesting to see. I have a feeling right now he's kind of, if we get like a small parade of countries signing deals with him over those tariffs things, that could bring a bit of stability to the market for the rest of this month. So we could actually have a green month. And as we saw, well, heck, look, here's the TSX. So this blue line, this is where we began the month, right over here, at the bottom of this little candle. This is where we began the month. As long as we stay above that, we have a green month, and we're doing good. Look at this. I mean, we finished the day strong. We had a nice little, well, it's not a huge candle, but it was green. It was a green candle. Is the Fed going to cut rates and inflation high or low or print money? So talking about the U.S. Fed, Donald Trump wants them to cut rates. Like, he wants them to cut rates pretty darn bad. But Powell is like, no, we're not doing it. The U.S. right now has this, as long as those job numbers stay really, really strong, the Fed's not going to be in any hurry to cut rates. You might see one or maybe 1, 2, or worst case scenario, maybe 3, 25 basis point cuts this year. But there's no hurry. I would probably think, and that's the thing. It's the job market. The job market is what's holding Powell back. We'll have to see. 100% movie. How is that? This is the thing. Nobody has a clue how that would even work. Right now, all it's doing is, obviously here in Canada, we make a lot. A lot of American movies are made in Canada, because yeah, absolutely, they get tax incentives here. They get a lot of tax breaks making movies here. Plus, with the lower Canadian dollar, it's pretty cheap. Hallmark Christmas movies, and if you guys know about Hallmark Christmas movies, they have like what, 100 of them every year. Well, maybe not 100, but they probably have a good 30. I think 30 or so. Well, they're all made up in Canada, different places, Nova Scotia, Ontario, BC, Newfoundland. They make a lot. They make a lot of the Hallmark movies up here. So, how do you do it? It's not like you could sort of say, okay, well, you have to charge a tariff on every movie ticket at the theater. Well, what about older movies? What if the movie was made before the tariffs came into place? What about television? Yeah, that's it. I think this is one of those ones where he says it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's really plausible. I don't think it's plausible at all. Let's see. War on Bollywood. Yeah. Well, maybe, but maybe. Well, India is apparently negotiating a trade deal with the U.S. They might have to work Bollywood into that trade deal. Paul said, "Yeah, Hallmark movies made in Fort Langley. Yeah, pretty much. It's like we're a country of Hallmark movies. They're making it from coast to coast." Can you say the euro is going reserve currency and dollar going to vanish? No, I don't think I can say that. Um, there could be a lot of interesting things down the road economically, but yeah, I don't think I don't think the euro is going to become the world's reserve currency. Not anytime soon. And I think right now, and Donald Trump has even threatened that there would be some severe tariffs on any country that would switch out the U.S. dollar as their reserve currency for anything else. So yeah, I don't see that happening at all. Let's see, Hallmark, where everyone's white, perfect body, skin, hair, perfect. Come on. I don't know. I don't really watch Hallmark movies, but I would hope that there would be a little bit of diversity in them. You know, I always look at it this way. Like I've always thought um, that movies should be what I mean, whatever makes sense. But at the same time, if you're making a movie that takes place in, let's say it's Detroit. Well, whatever the racial diversification of Detroit is, make it reflective in the movie. That's my thought. But I'm honestly I'm more of a plot person anyway. It's like if the plot is good, I don't care. I don't care what color the characters are. I want a good plot. But when you don't give me a good plot, then I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed, absolutely. Kind of like with Marvel. Those of you who follow the Marvel cinematic universe, one of the problems that Marvel has had is, I know that a lot of people, a lot of very right people have been going, it's all about diversity. And it really isn't. It's just about the fact that they've been pushing out so much stuff that they've diluted the quality and the plots are just not coming together, right? So I'm hoping with their new with the new Avengers movies, they pull that back together. But I'm a little skeptical, but I'm optimistically less skeptical at the same time, if that makes sense. All right. Yes, Bitcoin back over 100,000. It's nice to see them there. Nice to see Bitcoin there. I'd like to see, like I have been saying, I think we're going to see, before we go into a crypto winter, I do think we're going to get a new all-time high before that happens. So I'm thinking around 120,000. That's where I would like to see it hit, but we'll see. We'll watch. Larry says the CIA installs most European leaders through bribes, blackmail, and Palantir. I don't think Europe will make a currency move anytime soon. Yeah, exactly. I think things are going to be fine the way they are. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Uh-oh, guys, I'm out of coffee. Well, I have one last sip left. Oh dear. Oh well. Anyway, guys, this seems like a good enough place to end for today. We are going to be back here on Sunday for this week. I got let me show. I'll show you guys one. I'll show you guys one of one of my pictures. I like this picture. So there will be a story about Ryan Reynolds. What is it? I don't know. You'll have to find out. You'll have to tune in on Sunday. And of course, if you have not yet watched that TD video, that did drop today. Check that out, after the stream, or go grab some food. And then after that, but yeah, we will be back here again on Sunday. We'll do this all over again. Until then, guys, enjoy your weekend. Hopefully it's sunny where you are and you have a really good one. I know that it's going to be, I think it's going to be in the 20s here in Ottawa. So that's not too shabby at all. All right. Until then, guys, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you guys on Sunday. Take care, everyone.